Hello everyone, Just Ninja Shep here. And for today's video, I had a bit of an issue with the recording ability at first. It didn't want to record the video aspect. Um, I had to close out the app I used to record on, exited back in, and went back in, and it worked just fine. So I figure I'll give the commentary just over top of it now, just in the replay. So in this match, I was the Franks, and I went against, I believe it was the Mayans. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Mayans. I'm going to keep view lock on though, so it should hopefully be showing you what I saw. At this point, I was trying to get my scout to go where I wanted it to. I might turn view lock off actually. Or maybe I'll keep it on. We'll see. So far is trying to get my food properly and also make my scout go in the right direction. Um, I had a lot of importance on. I had recorded one video before where I actually lost against the hard AI, but I also had a recording problem that time as well. Um, so yeah, so this match I was trying to keep it very, like, go with a more competitive strategy. So I knew, okay, 6 villagers was enough on food, then go 4 on wood, so that is what I was doing here. And in general, is trying to stick to a competitive build. And I knew I wanted to go with either a scout rush or a night rush here. Um, since I am the Franks, that is what they excel at. And you will all see how well that goes. I have the geese. I found one. I'd come back for the second. But yeah, so far it's been so far so good. And I saw that I was getting close to the pop cap limit, so I put up a house. And at this point, I was going to lure the boar. And I was stressing the importance of my people actually listening to me, because sometimes I've had an issue where they just don't want to listen to me for some reason. Um, it's something to do with the controls. I'll have to check later. But thankfully, this boar went quite successfully. Got another house up. I noticed that I had my geese over there. And yeah, this has been a pretty standard Dark Age. I realized they didn't have enough food and they didn't really want to micro these guys to go get some food, so I decided to research Loom. But yeah, it's been a pretty standard build so far. And I know I was mentioning in the video that for all of my friends and subscribers out there, I'm definitely not that good at Age of Empires, so I definitely could use advice on how to get better, and also comments about, like, did I do a decent job with trying to keep it to a competitive strategy, or did I deviate in more ways than I probably should have. And I know before long, yep, I sent this woman to go get the boar. I was also really happy with this big gold patch. It's a lot better than having like little small ones, in my opinion. But yeah, I realized that the boar didn't fully come, so I had to lure it back. But that's two pretty standard boar lures from what I can tell. Then this is where I knew I was like, I'm definitely going night, but should I go scout rush, night rush? I was leaning a bit more towards night rush at this point, which is why I'm like, yeah, let's get a gold mine up in the dark age, because I knew as soon as I was done with the wild boar, I would be going into feudal age pretty soon after, like basically right away, which I believe, yes, is exactly what I did. And yeah, we were definitely against the Mayans that time. And yeah, so still going with the geese. I was also going mill. And the reason that I went people onto the berries is, first, it's a free source of food, but you do get it slower than normal. So I got some people go over to wood, some people to gold, some food. Um, but yeah, it's helping with my strategy. But I quickly realized, I'm like, yeah, I have too many people on gold at the moment. So I sent them back over to food. And I sent the wood people over to wood because I wanted to get plenty of farms right away. Plus, I knew I'd need lots of wood for buildings once I hit feudal. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to put my houses like this, but the reason I like doing it is because, like, if you get hit by a rush of any sort, like a scout rush, for instance, this way it's just like oh, quickly put a house here, something right over there, and then you're protected. But we both reached feudal around the same time. I wanted to get barracks up pretty quickly so I could get a stable up as soon as I got into, basically whenever, actually, but especially so I would have it enough stables ready to go for a night rush later on. Plus, one thing that I always underestimate is I normally go too far into whatever my build strategy is, that if they build their counters, which they frequently do, I want to not just be screwed. So I was also like, yeah, let's have a barracks and make another one in a bit. I'll put my view lock back on to see what I was seeing. But things were definitely going well up to this point. Would it remain that way, though, is for you all to see. And this is when I put up my stable. So that right there is a stable. One of the things I don't do that well on in this game is micromanaging. So look, if you have an army that needs to be micromanaged, as the eco and all that stuff, I don't do that well at that. And then I build a blacksmith up there. And then some houses. This way I'm getting my wall going, a bit of a protective wall, which I like doing on Arabia. I also realized that I had 13 on wood and 11 on... Now it's 11 on food, that's why I got a little bit more... Why I tried to give people a little bit more on food. Let's build my market there. The reason I built the market is because I'd be able to basically block this whole part off fairly easily if I wanted to. Another lumber camp right there. And yeah, up to this point, things seem to be going quite well. There is another stable, because I wanted to go with a night rush, and I figure at this point, having two stables for the night rush, probably a good idea. And I also got the defensive stable tech at the same time, the defensive night check. Oh yeah, and that's why I noticed that this scout was having a fun time just chilling up here, doing his little back and forth when it's like I told you to go find the enemy base and all of over there, but he thought he would just chill and stay safe. I will definitely need to double check for next time before I ever start recording, make sure that it is actually recording the video. Even when it previews and says, oh yeah, it should be good to go, it's like, that's let me down quite a few times. Anyways, I tried to get more farms going here, as well as more of the barrier. Plus, my housing count was getting a little bit tight, so I was like, yeah, sure, let's increase the wall. Because at this point, if I got attacked, really, it'd be quite easy to fill in the barriers up top and working towards it down low. So this is when I get my knights pumping out. I get 3 and 2, as you can see. And I also work on the tech to make the horses go faster, I believe, in a second here. This one noticed that the enemy had spears and a bunch of archers, though, which that was not a good sign. After seeing them have that many spearmen, and probably more that I couldn't see, that's when I quickly debated, I'm like, should I even be going knights? What should my plan be? But you shall see how it goes. That's a town center that I just put up. Anyways, I had 5 knights, my scout, and now husbandry, so they go faster. And I knew I would need that, because I would need to be outrunning those pikemen. And then next thing I knew, here they were attacking my base. So I didn't ring the town bell, because that's a bad idea. So I just got everyone in the southern part of my base to go inside the town center. And I had my knights defend defend things. Except for my scout, who I didn't realize was just letting himself be killed until it was too late. It was around this time, though, when I realized that I definitely needed to just focus on my economy and go Imperial as fast as I could. Because as soon as I realized that they had lots of spearmen who would become pikemen, I just knew it was a problem. Plus, I noticed that I was in Castle and they were still in Feudal Age, so I tried to use that to my advantage as well to try to just get some town centers out and just try to beat them economically. Play the long game. I also noticed that there was a wood patch there. I was trying to see if could I make a town center go. Was there any spot where a town center could go with the stone? Unfortunately, it could not. So I ended up putting my third town center up there, which was also next to stone, because that's when I realized I had no one on stone. So that was a problem. One thing I often like doing is getting people onto wood and then just taking them off of wood and then putting them wherever I need them. I also put houses there, and as well as setting people up there to put houses there just so I had a wall to keep things nice and protected. Although I did know that they were going archers, so I knew it might not be the most effective, but I knew it would help. And yeah, so at this point, I thought things were going quite well. Had 3 town centers up. Was just trying to focus on my economy. I had a little bit of an issue trying to make it like a more of a balanced economy and not too much on one or another. So I switched. What's that? 5 people? Yeah, 5 people to food from wood. And the reason I kept my knights down in that area was because the rest of my base was nicely defended without any way of getting in. Now there actually was a gap right by that by the blacksmith, but I didn't realize it until a bit later. Um, so I just had my knights defending the southern part of my city. As you can see here, I tried to take away that bottom part of my base that was really quite open. Um, and yeah, really just trying to focus on the economy here while having just enough military to defend my base if they came back in with those archers or with whatever they wanted to come at me with. But I was betting archers at that point, archers and pikemen, but mostly archers. I didn't really consider I guess I didn't really consider pikemen being used offensively at that point really. Anyway, at this point things seem to be going quite well and just had my 3TC boom going on. I believe it was around this time I was trying to get to Imperial Age though. Yes, it was because I was making my that was a university and this was the monastery, and I was just trying to get myself into Imperial Age as fast as I could at that point on my 3TC boom, and then I was going to focus on military mostly once I got there and finish this wall. And that was another barracks, I believe. Yes, that was another barracks. And things were going really well up to this point. At this point, my base was really well defended, and just heading up to Imperial. Just trying to manage my resources. Oh, this was also the point where I really started focusing on my infantry because I realized how many pikemen they had that they'd probably keep on upgrading. So I definitely focused on going with infantry here, and I also started making some knights. And with these guys down here, I put up a lumber camp because I was trying to find some wood. Um, because I had realized that I'm like, okay, my back tree line's gone. I don't want to wood that like crazy, so I eventually just went down here. But I knew I couldn't put a town center. Maybe if I went more towards this area, I could have. But I knew anywhere in this area I couldn't, so I just went with a lumber camp and chilled. I knew I had these nights here if things went badly. But I had gotten some stables going down there, so I'd have more to attack with. but I also knew that there's a good chance I'd need some infantry, but I wasn't sure if those pikemen, if they were just going to be like feudal age and castle age, or if they were going to actually focus on them more. Um, I was pretty sure that they'd go into archers though, because the Mayans are a good archer civilization. So I did do a pretty good job at making sure that those archers wouldn't beat the crap out of us. I was gonna take Vlock off for a second because I believe, yes, that's when I knew my gold was getting low, so I put some gold people down here. And before long, I had noticed that they just finished that one off, so I'd put them down there. Let's go back and see what I was doing though. Yeah, so I was building 4 stables. I had my knights over here going on the offensive. And that's when I saw that they had so many pikemen still, and I was a bit surprised by that. I wasn't sure if they were just gonna keep that to more of a earlier age thing, but I was like, no, they have a whole bunch of pikemen who will probably become halberdiers. I think they get that tech. I wasn't sure if they got the tech or not, so I'm like, they will if they get the tech. My knights became cavalry. They were on the run because I didn't want them attacking the pikemen, and that's when I quickly realized, I'm like, okay, I definitely need to go heavy into infantry here. And this part was quite silly because it was like, come on, horses, we gotta run because I will, like my army would probably win, but in terms of resources, I would be losing that trade off very badly. But my things weren't up yet, and I also had to try to. I was like, oh, I want to go down there. No, I can't let them see that. I was sad that they saw my castle, so things got intense there for a moment. And then they started attacking my villagers, which wasn't good. But it was a situation where I just can't let them. I can't let them just take out all my cavalry. So I went for the two-handed swordsman upgrade as well as trying to create as many of them as I can. Which mostly once I got the two-handed swordsman, like they did okay as long swordsmen, but once they got the two-handed upgrade, that's when they really became noticeably stronger than their halberdiers. They were able to pick off quite a few villagers though, which was unfortunate for me. Oh, and that's when I realized that they had I had a hole there in my base. But I didn't realize that they had people back there picking off a few of my villagers, which was really bad. Because I didn't put anyone in the town center because I didn't realize that they were picking off my guys. Because in the replay I can see it plain as day how it's like, oh, they're picking off a few of my villagers. But I didn't see that when I was actually playing. I was too focused on microing my army, getting my castle up, finishing those barracks, and getting things to work. It wasn't until they realized now, because I feel like it was around now when I saw. Yeah, it was no. The fact that I didn't realize that they had a warrior back there picking off my farmers is really sad. Because I remember seeing him just attacking my town center, and I'm like, oh, when did this guy get here? But I had no clue that he'd been there for a while. This is when I was focusing on getting some castles up, getting some forward momentum going. It went pretty well. Still though, it's bad that I wasn't paying attention to, like, it's telling me that I'm being attacked, but I was so occupied with other things that I didn't realize until he was eventually just attacking my town center, and I was just like, what are you doing up here? How long? Like, I didn't realize until watching this replay that he was there for quite a while. Anyways, at this point, I really got my army going. Oh, and this is when I saw it. This is when I'm like, oh, how long have you been there? I'm like, okay. I actually assumed that he came up through the top. I didn't realize he had taken out all my villagers. Eventually, I send a one cavalier to go take care of him. But first, I got some monks out as well. I thought maybe a monk can take care of him, or I was also debating between whether I should go with the keep two-handed swordsman or if I should go for the champion line. But I did decide to go for the champion line as I thought, like, yeah, well, I'll probably need some champions. But yeah, as you can see, I sent that cavalier after them. I'll take Vlock off for a moment to go see that. But yeah, the cavalier took him out. And this is when I went to attack, but saw that it's like, oh, they have a castle. So I was like, okay, let's get some trebuchets up. So that went well. But as you can tell, it's been a very close game up to this point. I wanted to bring the Monk Cavalier back up, because I wanted to get some healing from a Monk or two up towards the front. Got another castle up. Saw them being attacked, and then I was like, what are you guys doing? Because I'm like, no, back up. Back up. Oh, this is when they weren't listening to me as well. I'm like, no, listen to me. Then back up. But I set these guys all to a defensive formation after that because I realized it's like, you guys don't want to go follow one Eagle Scout into certain death under their castle. And even now, I was trying to micro my guys out of the castle range, but they weren't really having it. So I was like, hurry up, trebuchets, let's take this out before I get more damage done to me. I eventually sent a couple cavaliers off to take out that guy. I thought I'd get to him in time. Unfortunately, I did not. This is when I once again tried to get my people out of that castle range. But yeah, just microing things, keeping things going well. Okay, this is when this is when I was trying to get more barracks because I realized that I needed more. Because I'd really have to get enough troops out to support the trebuchets and their forward push. And I also realized that the champions are cheaper, and they were still creating quite a few halbs. So I was thinking, you know what? Let's just do champions. It should be fine. I still try to get some cavalier in there just because of their archers. I think cavaliers are a good counter to archers, but it went well. I believe I was putting the trebuchets down to the town center. I put the other trebuchets, because I split them in two. I had 4 trebuchets, but 2 up top, 2 down below. I tried to bring the cavaliers and champions to go and defend them. And it was around this point for the bottom too, I just kind of was like, sure, they can just kind of attack whatever they feel like that's in range. I thought in general they need more defense though, so I grabbed everyone I could. And that's when I got my monk to go after a relic and saw that my stone people weren't doing anything. So I got another mining camp and just get some more gold because I was really low on gold. But yeah, this is when I was starting to feel like really good, just knowing that's like, hey, I seem to have everything going the way I want it to. I've got trebuchets, I've got enough military defending them. Moving up, my villager count was good. I think it was it was around this time of the game, if not a little bit before, that I realized that's like, okay, my villager count's good, 92 is fine. I'll just focus on basically military now, with an occasional look back to the economy to make sure everything's okay. But I did appreciate that, just knowing it's like, oh hey, everything's good. Because it was a little bit earlier on, I basically knew I'm like, hey, I needed like 10, 15 more villagers, so I just kind of created them, scheduled them to do tasks, and then just kind of focused on military from there on out. That's when I was moving up to go attack the town centers. I realized that my trebuchets were damaged quite a bit, but I figured I'd risk it because if one or two of them went down, I had another two or three, so I was like, oh, it should be fine. Sent the cavaliers to go try to pick off villagers and have the champions defend them. Because at that point, I knew that like if they go halberdiers, oh well, I've got my champions here, so it's fine. And I feel like archers aren't as big of a counter to infantry, especially in the numbers that we had, as compared to halberdiers against cavaliers. Just because I could produce the champions easier. I also went with some of the like what are they called, blacksmith upgrades, because I realized I'm like, oh crap, I don't think I've got them yet, have I? So I just went for two of them here, as you can see. Went with a bunch more champions. And in general, everything was going quite well. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. This was one of my more favorite matches. I know that back the other day, like I was saying, I did do a match against the Hard AI where I was very tired and I wasn't like paying as much attention and stuff, and I actually lost to the Hard AI. Um, so on the top of my game, actually fully paying attention, being able to pull this game off the way that, as you can see, it's going, I was quite happy about that. I also got enough infantry. I thought that was good infantry-wise. Although it was around now, or a little bit later, that I was like, oh, we should get some we should get some buildings like further up, because I realized that there's quite a bit of space there where I just didn't have buildings. So I thought about that in a minute here, about needing to get some more forward barracks. I was making sure I was looking for gold at this point because my people had I'd run into an issue, so I was like, oh sure, here's some gold, here's some cavaliers to protect them in case some archers come by, and let's push up into the rest of their town centers. And it was around this point when I really saw it, and I'm like, I have a lot of open space there that I thought about it. They did surrender just before I was able to actually start building though. Which makes sense though, since I've taken out basically all their stuff. But yeah, I figured I'd get some more champions. Realized that there's a bit of a distance between them, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was right then. It was right when I was building those new town centers. Not new town centers. Right when I was building those new champions, that I realized um, that there's a lot of space in between that I should build some more. But this match went quite well. Um, and here's an overall look at my base of how the match. I thought it went quite well. Um, quite well. There's the actual base itself, the 3TC boom that I did. Eventually got a fourth one up. Um, went with 4 stables plus the other 2 over there, making 6 total. That would be 10 barracks I have over there in my main upward spot. I went with some forward castles to defend us and defend that gold that's over there. Um, and yeah, the match went quite well. I had my wood guys there. Should have had a lumber camp closer, but oh well. And they had a lot of people kind of scattered here and there with like lumber camps and such. But overall, it was a very good match. It was quite successful. I ended up winning, which I was very happy about. Um, since winning against the hard AI is not something that's just very easy for me. It's something that I have to work hard at, like I did this match, to pull off the win. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you really liked it, and tell all your friends that I upload videos daily. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video if you watched until the end. And also for any of my Age of Empires friends out there and subscribers, let me know what you thought of the match. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What things did I did? What things did I do well on? Which things should I improve upon? Because I mean, I win against the hard AI sometimes. I lose against them sometimes. So that's really around where my skill level is at with the game. So, anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.